Her area of interest are machine learning, text mining, and computer vision. Madam has published more than 50 papers in the reputed journals and conferences. Madam has guided 8 research scholars and she has been reviewer in many conferences and international journals. Madam has published 3 books and 1 patent so far. So this is the introduction about Madam. And then Madam, you can start the session now. Thank you for accepting our request to taking one session in this one wonderful FTP, Madam. Lakshmi, ma'am, you can start the session now. The session is over to you, ma'am. Madam, your voice is not audible, ma'am. Your screen is visible, but your voice is not audible, ma'am.
Do you hear my voice, sir?
Yes, madam. Your voice is audible,
Ah,
madam.
okay, sir.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
I think
Thank
someone has muted and now it is fine.
you. Okay, okay, okay.
Okay, sir. I'll share the screen.
Okay, okay.
The screen is visible, sir, now?
It's coming, madam. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
sir.
yes,
Yes,
ma'am. You can
yes.
start the session.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. So thank you for the introduction. So good morning for all the participants. Thanks for your presence here in this session. So as we have already, the person has already, Mr. Muthugurunadan sir already introduced me properly. And the topic of the day today is the natural language processing. The natural language processing is actually a wonderful topic because it is not just because I'm handling this particular topic, but the day of the order is natural language processing. Now, many companies, they are concentrating on natural language processing. Actually, 20 years back, the technology is not so mature. That is when I pursued the natural language processing as my research area and all. It was not so very strong, or otherwise the technology is not so matured. But nowadays, many giants are already working in this particular area, like Google, is also similar working in this area, and they are contributing so much to maturity of this technology. So in today's session, we are going to see this as the outline. So first we are going to see what is NLP, and then we are going to see what are the challenges in NLP, and a few applications of NLP, and then what are the basic tasks that is involved in NLP, and a slight glimpse of what is, how we can do the Python programming for NLP. And then if someone is very much interested, and someone is very much interested to take forward this NLP and to do some research in this particular area, some of the resources that is available related to NLP, all those things we will introduce in this session. So first, what is natural language processing? So first, that is, the natural language processing is a field of artificial intelligence that enables computers to analyze and understand human language, both written and spoken. Or otherwise, the natural language processing, or NLP, is a field of artificial intelligence that gives the machine the ability to read, understand, and derive meaning from human language. So basically, when we are talking about the natural language processing, the input is some natural language, which may be in the form of a text, or it may be in the form of a speech. So from that, the system is trying to infer some kind of meaning. Okay, understanding the natural language is very, very, very difficult, because as a human being, we learn a lot and lot of things, and the context knowledge is automatic for us. But in the case of machine, it is not as simple as that. Most of the time, the machine will take the input as a word, as a keyword, and based on the word only, it is trying to process. But
Uh,
educating the system, educating a program to understand the context or understand the meaning of the words which we have spoken is a challenging task.
Madam, sorry
So
to
when we
disturb
are
you.
talking,
Madam,
yes sir,
Madam, sorry
yes
to
sir.
disturb you. Your screen is not changed, madam. It is showing in the first slide only.
I have not changed it. Now I have changed, sir. Do you see the second slide, sir?
No, madam. Still in the
Okay,
first slide only.
okay, sir. Okay, sir. I'll stop, and I'll come back again.
Oh, ma'am, for better viewing, you can turn off your video also. Then you can share, madam,
Yes,
because
sir. Yes, sir.
it is
Yes, sir.
taking
That
more
is what I'm
data
trying.
than. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is what I'm doing now.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
Is it changing now?
Uh, Screen still not yet visible. Yes, madam. Now the screen is visible, madam. The first slide it is open.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So you people see the outline of the lecture today.
Mm.
Is it, sir?
No, madam. The first slide only, ma'am. Natural language processing, and then your name only it is displaying, ma'am. First slide.
Oh. Sir, once again, I'll try to change the network and then I will come again,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
ma'am. Okay, thank you. Dear participants, sorry for the inconvenience. Within short period of time, madam will rejoin, and then madam will continue the session.
Do you see my screen, sir?
Yes, madam. The first slide it is opened,
Okay.
madam. You can change the slide.
Now,
Now,
now I have moved to the second slide, sir.
still the first slide only it is showing, madam. Yes, ma'am. Now it is in fifth slide. Challenges in natural language processing.
Now, do you see my screen, sir?
Yes, madam. Now it is in fifth slide. Challenges in natural language processing. That slide is opened, madam. Now.
Okay. But that is not in the presentation mode, right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But when I make it to the presentation mode, I think then only it is not moving.
Okay. Now it is in the second line, third slide.
Mm.
Now it
Okay.
is in what is natural
Okay, sir.
language. Yes, ma'am.
Right, sir. Let me try it like this as such. I
Okay.
mean, I will try to give the presentation mode. If it is
Mm.
not moving, then I will go back to the editing mode itself, sir. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
So do you see the next screen, sir?
Yes, madam. Now third slide it is open. What is natural language processing?
You see the computer science, NLP, human language, those things?
No, madam. Third slide. Slide number 3.
Okay, sir. Okay. So
What
that
is,
means it
what,
is again not moving. No problem, sir. I will. Is it okay? Do you see the screen, sir?
screen is opening, madam, but opened, madam.
That
What
is
is
what the next screen, that some image form.
no. In third slide it
Okay,
is
sir.
up.
No problem, sir. Then I will go with the edit mode itself. Okay. Right. Sorry for the disturbance. We will continue with this edit mode itself. I do not know exactly what is the problem really. So as I already told you, today's outline, we are going to see what are the challenges that is involved in NLP. And then we are going to see the application of NLP, then basic tasks that is involved in NLP. Python programming, if time permits, again, we will definitely see that. And then the conferences which are relevant for the NLP and other kind of software resources that is available. So in this particular lecture, I will be touching the basic points of the NLP because the NLP itself is a very big ocean. Will not be able to talk about all possible activities of NLP. That is the core technology of NLP. But the basics definitely we are going to cover in today's session. So as you can see here, the natural language processing. The natural language processing is a field of artificial intelligence that enables computers to analyze, understand human language, both the written and spoken. So as I already told, it is actually very, very difficult to understand the human language because the word itself is carrying different type of meaning in the different type of context. So it is very difficult for a system to understand the real meaning of the word given. So when it is very challenge for understanding the meaning of the word itself, the meaning of the sentence, then it is going to be a next level of challenge. As a human being with the knowledge of our world, we can very well understand the different type of usage of word, but for a computer, it is not as simple as that. So when we are talking about the field of NLP, so NLP is a combination of computer science, then human language and artificial intelligence. So all these knowledges are required for incorporating the natural language processing task. So I already told you the natural language processing is a very, very challenging task. So first thing is because of the complexity. Okay, that is once information can be given in very many number of times. So if I ask one particular sentence to be conveyed by other person, the usage of word itself will be very, very different. So that is what you are seeing here as a small example. Federer final match comes in doubles alongside rival Nadal. As you can see here, this is taken from the yesterday's newspaper. So the the same information is given by the Indian Express in a different form. Laver Cup 2022 live streaming. Roger Federer to play his last match, a doubles with Rafael Nadal. So as I said, the same information is conveyed by different people in different ways. So the word of choice is different and how we are arranging the sentence is different. So like that, the complexity increases. Then other kind of challenges, you can see here, different word, but that conveys the same meaning. Cyclosporin, and the same cyclosporin is given with a different spelling. And then neural and sand immune. So this is some terminologies that is used in the medical field. And if you just see the right hand side, we can see different expression, but the meaning is just the same. Non-smoker, does not smoke, does not drink or smoke, or denies tobacco usage. So all these things are related to or other is indicating the same meaning, that is a non-smoker. And similarly, the same word but used in a different context. Okay, so this kind of thing, technically we call that as a polysemy type of words. So diagnosed with diabetics, family history of diabetes, no family history of diabetes. So like that, the same word will be used in a different type of context. And then different grammar, but the meaning is same. 5 mg per kg of cyclosporin per day or 5 mg per kg per diem of cyclosporin. Cyclosporin 5 mg per kg per day. So you are using the same information, but you are using different type of grammar for representing the same kind of information. So definitely it is a very, very big challenge for a system to understand, or otherwise even a person who is designing the program for the NLP. It is a real challenging task. And then words can have several meanings. So if at all we want to understand what is the real meaning of that particular word, we have to understand the context and we have to interpret the meaning of the word correctly. Very common example we use is he played with bat. So are we meaning the cricket bat or are we meaning the bat which is a bird? So like this, only by understanding what is the context, we can identify what is the real meaning of the word bat. And then the next challenge is the natural language is extremely dynamic. What we mean by extremely dynamic? Because we can see very many lot of words are adding into the dictionary of English. Okay, say for example, once upon a time, when we are copying the document, we used to use the word document copy or take a true copy of the document. But after the introduction of Xerox, the company introduced the copying machine. And after that, people very normally used to say, instead of saying the document copy, people used to say document Xerox. Just take a Xerox of this. That's it. So now the word copy is now replaced with the word Xerox. The same thing is applicable for the Google also. What we can say, usually we used to say, search for this word in the Google. And nowadays, Google is used as, I have Googled it from the, and I got this information. So like this, we used to use the Google as a verb, not as the noun. So like this, day and day, there are very many number of new words are introduced in the world and slowly it is added to the dictionary also. And the very latest changes is this. Now we are using the emoticons in our regular chatting, especially when we are chatting in the social media, we are using these kind of emotional icons. So nowadays, people are working on how to interpret the emotions or the sentiment in the text by using the emoticons also. And next, we are going to see the language processing. So this is a very common step, that is any language processing. This is how generally it goes. Different levels are there. As you can see in the slide, we have 6 levels of language processing. So first level, speech or sound. So it is just taking the phonemes from the sound, whatever which we have produced. And then second level is about the word. So assuming that we are having the textual word, so we try to take the stem of the word, or otherwise we do the morphological analysis of the word. Okay, so what is the basic word which is uttered? And then level 3, we try to see the structure of the sentence. So when we are saying the structure of the sentence, we say it is the syntax parsing. So we try to see in what way one word is associated to the other word. Okay, so what is the sentence tree structure? That is what the parsing is all about. And then meaning of the sentence, we try to understand the real meaning of the words that is given. Okay, and then meaning in context, that is given a context, how the meaning of the word will be changing, or otherwise meaning of a sentence will be changing. So this kind of analysis, we call that as a pragmatic analysis. And the next type of analysis is the discourse. That is, we have a very big paragraph, and in that paragraph, how one sentence is connected to the other sentence. Okay, so this is what the discourse analysis. Depending upon the application, we will be using level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, or up to level 6 kind of language processing. But when we are talking about the complexity, the level 1 is easy, level 2 is easy, level 3 is also very easy. Level 4, the difficulty actually comes in when we are talking about the meaning of the sentence. And then level 5 and level 6 are more and more complex to process. Okay, so as we already said, the examples of the levels we are talking about here once again. So in level 1, we just talk about the sounds, or as I said, the phonetics. And then in level 2, we are talking about the morpheme, or otherwise the basic unit of the word. Okay, so when you are talking about the word, say for example dogs or dogged, then the base word is dog. Okay, so this is what we call that as the morpheme. Similarly, when we are saying the word ladies, the base word is the lady. Okay, so when I'm talking about the level 2, we have the question whether we should store all forms of word in the lexicon. Here, what we mean by the lexicon is the collection of words which we have used in our corpus. Okay. What we mean by the corpus, I am sure that many of you know the collection of the documents which we have for some specific purpose of task. Okay. Say for example, when we are doing the text classification, we have to collect a large amount of data or the text document that is relevant for each category. Okay, so in that context, whole document collection is considered to be the corpus. And then whatever the words that is included in this collection or the corpus, we will put it as the lexicon or the dictionary. So the question whether we have to consider, say for example, dogs, dog, ladies, all those derivational form should be consider that into the lexicon. So that we have to think about. So depending upon the application, we will have to have the different type of format. In our discussion further, we will talk about those things. And then next is the level 3, ROM goes to market. So this is one sentence. And as I said, level 3 is the syntactic analysis, how one word is associated with the other word. So ROM goes to market is a correct formation of the sentence. But we can have the sentence like this. That is, someone can write a sentence like this, goes ROM to the market. So that means when we analyze the sentence properly with the syntactic rules, then we know that goes ROM to the market is not correct. Okay. And then level 4, translation from unstructured to structured representation. That is, we try to understand the meaning of the word. So we try to understand what we mean by RAM and what we mean by market, and he is doing some kind of activity. So what kind of activity he is doing? He is going. Okay. So when we want to convert the unstructured information to the structured information, we will be using these kind of semantical analytics. Okay. As I said, different type of levels are used for different type of activities or the task of the NLP. So, different type of application of the NLP. So where we stop is decided absolutely by the application which we have selected. So if the application demands up to 6 levels, then we have to go up to 6 level. If the application demands only 4 levels, then we can stop up to 4 levels. So as I said, the semantic information, we try to understand the meaning of the word. We try to understand the role that is played by the words. Okay. So here the agent is Ram, and then from where he is coming, we do not know. So that is why it is a question mark. And then where he is going to the market. So as I said, most of the NLP task will be revolving around the verb. Sometimes it may be revolving around the noun activities. Okay. So mostly the action is the center point, and this action, who is doing and what is the object that is involved. The other things are the other factors which we will consider. But in some cases, some application needs the adjective as more important. Say for example, when we are talking about the when we are talking about the sentiment analysis, then the adjective plays more role than the verb or the nouns. So it doesn't mean that we are not going to use other information, but the primary focus will be the adjective in the sentiment analysis. Okay. And the next L5, the user situation and context. Say for example, so as if you correlate with the previous slide, this is nothing but the pragmatic analysis. That is, we will be using some sentence, but depending upon the context, definitely the meaning of the sentence will change. Say for example, the example given here is that water? So if I ask this question in a chemical laboratory, then the meaning will be different. But when I'm asking about the dining, I'm asking the same question in the dining table, the meaning will be different. Or otherwise, I put the another question, another example. Say, for example, we may say the word, you are stamping my leg. Okay. You are stamping my foot. Like that, you can say. Then, what we're expecting from the other person, we don't definitely expect the other person to say yes. Because when someone is stamping the other's foot, then the other person should say sorry and remove the foot. Okay. So, depending upon the context, how it is to be understood, it is different in the pragmatic analysis. And then L6 it is about the co-reference resolution. That is how we are going to connect the words, connect the sentences. Okay. So this is a very nice example. The man went near the dog. It bit him. So what we mean by it and what we mean by him. So this is what is termed as the co-references. So generally we always have the ambiguity in this kind of references. So in this particular sentence, we don't have any problem. So naturally, as a human being, we know that it means definitely it should be the dog and him means it should be the man. But now we have another example. The dog went near the cat. It bit it. So now this it indicate which one, whether it is cat or dog, and this it indicate whether it is a cat or dog. We do not know. So this is the kind of ambiguity we have with respect to the natural language processing. So that is why it is very, very complex, and only by understanding the context we can answer. But sometimes even when we understand the context, it may be difficult to resolve these kind of co-reference ambiguity. That is why still we are not able to achieve 100% accuracy in all the NLP tasks. Right. So when we are talking about the natural language processing, in general, these are the tasks that is involved. So as you can see here, this is the natural language processing pyramid. So the base level is the morphological analysis. Next is the syntax analysis, semantics analysis, and then pragmatic analysis. In this session, I'm just going to talk about only the 3 levels of task. It will be detailed than what we have discussed in the example. Okay, so this is the general way of parsing the text. When we have an input sentence, first we do the lexical analysis, then the syntactic analysis, semantic analysis, and then the transformed output is taken. If we need to have the worldly knowledge, that worldly knowledge will come from the database, and having all this as input, then the NLP task, depending upon the application, we will have the corresponding output. Sorry. So we'll have the output. So first we are going to see about the morphological analysis. So in morphological analysis, as we already said, we are going to take the word as the input, and we are going to see how the word is created, or otherwise we try to extract the meaningful stem of the word in the morphological analysis. Okay. So the word are built up of minimal meaningful elements called morphemes. The word play can be converted into play, then ed. Okay. And similarly, cats can be converted into cat and s. Unfriendly is divided into unfriend and then ly. So by seeing this, we can understand that there are 2 types of morphemes. One is the stem, the other one is the affixes. Okay. So stem is the base word, and on the base word we are going to attach either few characters at the end or few characters at the beginning. Okay. So as you all know, definitely we have the prefixes and suffixes. So prefixes precede the stem and then suffixes follows the stem, and you can see un is normally very commonly used prefix which we have already studied, and similarly we can see the suffix following the stem ed, s, and then ly are the suffixes which is very commonly used. So the stemming is one important process which we will be doing in any kind of morphological analysis. That is, when we see some particular word, we try to take only the base word of the particular word. As I already said, the word will be having the stem and also the affixes. So when I'm saying stemming, what we try to do is we try to extract only the portion, or that is the stem of the word, not the full word. Okay, so we can see here some example. The word play. What's the stem? Play. And then lemma is also the play. Replay. Stem is play, but the word is replay. And then unfriendly, friend, and then unfriendly. So when we are doing the stemming process, we either can go for the port stemming, or otherwise we can go for the lemmatization. Okay, so the port stemming is going to just cut off or otherwise trim off all the attachments, whether it is a prefix or suffix, it is going to trim off the attachment. But when we are talking about the lemmatization, in lemmatization, the word will be converted into the base form, like what we are seeing here. Play or replay or unfriendly, like this. But when we are using the trimming or otherwise the porter stemmer, definitely when we make the trimming on unfriendly, we will just cut off the un, when we will cut off the friend and ly, and we will have only the word friend. Again, depending upon the application, people will select whether to go for the lemmatization or the porter stemming. If it is just a statistical NLP application, then porter stemming is very well fine. But in some cases where we want to preserve the meaning of the word, then we have to go for the lemmatization. Or otherwise, if you want to keep the meaning, then we have to have the lemmatization. If we don't want to have the meaning, we just want to have the word as it is, we are just consider the keywords and the frequency of the keyword, then we can go for the stemming, porter stemming. Okay, so in this particular thing, we need to understand one more thing, that is the inflational or the derivational. So inflation means this the prefixes like dog is added with dogs. Those kind of things will be converted, will be considered as the inflectional, or otherwise we may have the derivation form also. When we talk about the derivation, the new word is coined from the base word. So for example, teach is a word, and then the derivation form is creating a new word from the base word, that is teacher. Like that we are creating a new word. Care, then careful. Like that a new word is created. Okay. When we are creating the, when we are doing the stemming, most of the time this will be converted into the base form only. Okay, the teacher will be converted into teach, like that. Once again, use of morphological analysis to find the root word, to find the tense of the word, and then whether it is a singular or plural, and to find the gender, and also used for spell checking. Okay, so you can see some examples that is given here. I was reading the paper. So the word reading indicates the tense. The base word will be the read, and then it is a verb. And then you can see here, I don't watch the news, I read the newspaper. So once again, the word we can use, the surface is read, and then the lemma once again read, and the form, it's a verb form, and the tense is present tense. And similarly, I read the paper. You can see here the tense is past tense. Okay. So these are the basic things which we have to understand with respect to the morphological analysis. So concluding morphological analysis, we try to extract the base word. We try to remove the all other attachments like the prefixes and the suffixes. And next kind of analysis what we do is the syntactic analysis. So when we are talking about the syntactic analysis, I already told that we try to identify the relationship between the words and then the role that is played by the word in a sentence. So in this particular phase, we will be doing two things. One is the part of speech tagging. The other one is the constituency or the parsing or the syntax tree. So in the part of speech tagging, many applications need to understand whether a particular word is given in verb form or in the noun form or in any other forms. So as I already told, the sentiment analysis, we try to identify what is the role of particular word. Whether especially the adjectives, we are going to give more importance. So we have something called pen tree bank. As you can see, it is introduced in the year 2014. So it is giving the standard part of speech notation that is used in the natural language processing. You can see here, when we do a syntactic analysis, this is how we have to specify the grammar. Okay, so you can see here this particular grammar. Yes means yes contains NP and VP. So what is NP and VP? You can see from this list, but actually this is not a complete list. I have just taken a partial list from here. Basically, when we are saying the NP, it is a noun phrase, and then similarly when we say the VP, it is a verb phrase. So similarly, a sentence can be formed by the NP and then VP and PP, and then so PP is the propositional phrase, and next is NP can be in the form of determinant and then noun. So like that, in syntactic analysis, we specify how the sentence is formed. Okay, and you can see a small example here. The mat, cat, sat, on. So these are certain kind of words that is available in a sentence. Okay, if I show this, it will be better. So you can see here the sentence, the cat sat on the mat. And you can see how the sentence is given, or rather is the grammar of the sentence is given, and grammar for NP is given, grammar for VP is given, and accordingly we can see now the now the sentence has been parsed. The cat sat on the mat. That is the noun phrase VP and then the PP. Similarly, the NP is the cat and the mat. So this is what you are seeing here. D is determinant and then NN is mat and cat, and then these are the verb and this is the preposition. So like this, we can classify the words into some of the category that is defined by this pen tree, and there are other type of part of speech is also available, not only the pen tree. So depending upon which application you want to select and depending upon which POS tagging you want to select, you can decide upon what kind of tagging you want to use. Okay, so similarly, sometimes we want to see the same thing in the form of a tree structure also. So this is what you are seeing in the tree structure, that is the syntax tree. So you can see once again, the sentence is divided into noun phrase and the verb phrase. Then verb phrase once again divided into verb and noun phrase. And then verb phrase once again divided into determiner, noun, and then propositional phrase. And then propositional phrase is once again divided into proposition and then noun phrase. Then once again the noun phrase is divided into determiner and the noun. So when we are applying the same thing on the sentence, I is the noun phrase, drive is the verb, a is the determiner, car is a noun, to is the preposition, my is the determiner, and then college once again the noun. So we try to represent the sentence either in the form of a simple notation like this. We just try to represent that it is in the this is the noun phrase, this is the verb, this is the PP, like that we represent, or otherwise. So this kind of representation is called as a constitution representation, and this kind of representation is called as a syntactic representation. We can either have the syntactic representation or the constitution representation, but the idea is we try to chunk the phrases into pieces. Okay, in some application we try to chunk the pieces. So in those kind of application we may need to go for this kind of syntactic tree representation, and we try to identify the chunk, and the chunk is further used for some other purposes, like the relationship who gave what to this. When we are talking about the information representation, we try to understand who did what. Okay, for those kind of application, this kind of syntactic representation will be very comfortable. And then next is the semantic analysis. I already told you we try to understand the meaning of the word in the semantic analysis. We have different type of components that is involved in the semantic analysis. So when we are trying to understand one particular word, say for example, I say the word car. Okay, the car may be belonging to some other hypernym. Okay, hypernym is a generalization and then hyponym is a specific item. Okay, so you can see here as a small example, you can see color is a hypernym, and then the specific items of the color purple, red, blue, and then green. Similarly, you have the co-hyponyms. Co-hyponyms that is coming in the same level. And similarly, you can see the purple is one hyponym, but when we are comparing the crimson, violet, and lavender, in this it is the hyponym and this becomes the hypernym. So in some cases we try to identify some kind of general meaning for the given word. Okay, as I said, when I say the word car, I try to see the general meaning of the car, then I can say it is a vehicle or it can be classified as an automobile. Okay, so in some application we try to generalize the words which we have seen. So for that, this kind of hyponym and the hypernym relationship will be helpful. Right. Another point is the homonyms. Homonyms, that is, we have certain kind of words which has a similar spelling also, but the meaning will be different. Okay. The very common example is the bank. Very commonly we use this example. So when we are talking about the bank can be a savings bank or it can be a river bank. So how we can resolve this? Definitely by using the words that is available in the context, we will decide whether a thing is a savings bank or a river bank. And then we have words that is of polysemy. That is, one word can be used in a different connotation. Okay. So this example I already included in the previous earlier slides also. So when we are saying polysemy, one word can be used in a different connotation. That is what I told you. We can see here as an example, may I go now. So here how the may is used? May is used for getting permission. And here it may never happen. So here the may is used for indicating the possibility of some event to happen. So like that, the same word may be used in different type of connotation. So those kind of things will be into the polysemy category. And similarly, in some application, we will need to have the synonym of the words. Okay, that is, you know already, synonym is the similar kind of word. Okay, say for example, always, the equivalent word forever, aid, the equivalent word help or assist, and then aggressive, militant. So like that, we have same word to be replaced by some other words. A very common application where we will be using these kind of synonyms will be the question answering systems and the information retrieval system. As I already started the session, that is, one particular user can use different type of words, or otherwise the same information can be represented by using different type of words. Say for example, you are looking for one particular word, say for example hard. Okay, that hard word may be again replaced with the word firm also by the search engine, and the relevant documents also can be searched in. Okay, so that is where the synonym plays in a bigger role. And in some cases, we need to understand what is the opposite meaning of the particular word. So there it comes with the antonym. So we try to extract the antonym of the word and we try to use it for some kind of application. Okay, so as I said, in semantic analysis, we try to understand in what context the word is used, and we try to extract the additional information also. In some cases, we may have the ambiguity. In that kind of ambiguity, we go for something called the word sense disambiguation. Okay, very common method that is used for word sensitive, word sense disambiguation is the probability method. So how many times this particular term has been used as noun, or how many times this particular word has been used as verb. So like that, we try to identify from the corpus and we try to disambiguate one particular meaning for the given word. And next kind of analysis, as I already told, it's a pragmatic analysis. So depending upon the social content and how we are used up in the social context, depending upon the context, the meaning of the word will change, or depending upon the context, the meaning of the sentence has to be interpreted. So you can see, close the window, how it should be taken into consideration. That is, whether it should be interpreted as the request or it should be interpreted as order. Even in our real life also, we used to use these kind of words, or otherwise I should say, in real life we used to use these kind of words in very commonly. But when we are saying the same thing to the computer or the system, it will be difficult for the system to understand whether it is a request or a order. Okay, where we will be using this natural language processing. Very common application is a machine translation, information retrieval, question answering, dialogue system, information extraction, summarization, and then sentiment analysis. Machine translation, you all know that the Java point provides the best online tutorial. Now you can see the same thing is translated into Hindi. So for this kind of translation, we definitely have to have the syntactic analysis and also the semantic analysis in order to bring down to this particular meaning. And then when we are saying the question answering system, we are very much worried about the phonemes, how the words has been created and in which order we are using it. But actually, many question answering system, a simple kind of question answering system, even works well for the keyword based matching of terms with the content. Okay, we really don't have to understand the real meaning of the question to answer the question, especially when we are talking about the factoidal question. That is, say for example, what is your smartphone, or there is what day is it. Like these kind of questions are going to give you some single word as the answer. So these kind of factoidal question, a simple keyword kind of analysis is sufficient to handle the question answering. But some complex question answering systems are also there. For that, definitely we have to go through with all the levels. Sorry. Okay. So here when we are going for the complex level question answering system, definitely we may need to go for the all levels of natural language processing. But if it is a very basic level question answering system, a simple first level or second level will be sufficient for understanding the, bringing the answer for the question that is asked. And then next is the information retrieval system. And most of you know that definitely what is an information retrieval system. We used to have a document collection, and then the document collections are indexed. So again, definitely we will have to use the natural language technique for chunking the document into so many tokens, and then create the index based on the tokens which we have identified based on the corpus that is available. And when the user asks some kind of query, once again the query is also processed, whatever the process we have done for the indexing, the same kind of process we will be using for the query also. And then the query and the indexing term is matched, and then the corresponding the document that is relevant for the query will be retrieved and given to the user. So there also we will be using the different type of at least the first two levels definitely we will be using syntactic and semantics, the morphological analysis and the syntactic analysis mostly we will be using there. And then for spam detection, so here we are going to use the syntactic analysis and some semantic analysis. Sometimes we may already classify certain kind of terms as a spam words also. Okay, some characters are very specifically given. Say for example, continuous hash or continuous @ symbol. These kind of symbols are mostly used in the spam mails only. So those kind of things are otherwise one special character and one normal character. Like these kind of patterns are very normally used in the spam detection. So we try to analyze the content, whether this kind of patterns are available, and accordingly we decide. So this is a typical classification system. And many times I have already told you about the sentiment analysis in this discussion. When we are talking about sentiment analysis, we try to identify the opinion of the individual user of the system. Okay, so we try to analyze what is the attitude and what is the behavior and what is the emotion of the sender. So depending upon this nature, we will try to identify, or otherwise we will try to improvise the action that is performed. That is for the business intelligence, for improving our business, we will be using this kind of information. And in this, we definitely would like to take the adjective, that is people will be using, it is very good, I liked it very much. Like that, people try to use the words. Okay, so these kind of words, as I said, the word good, very good, excellent, these kind of words are the main contributing terms here. So mostly, as I said, this will be considered as the in POS tagging. When we are doing the POS tagging, this will be considered as the adjectives. So adjective, and then what is the noun that is sitting in beside the adjective. So those combination we try to see, that is adjective and the corresponding noun which it is indicating. So those things we will try to see, and we try to understand the real polarity of the sentence. When we are talking about the polarity, we are talking about whether it is a positive term or the negative term or the neutral term. So based on that, so we really cannot have a standard terms here. Say for example, when I'm saying that something is big, the big word may be good for some context, and the word big may be not good for certain context. Okay, sometimes I say that the screen of my mobile phone is big. So here I may say that in a positive sense. Okay, but in some other cases the handle is too big. So at that time I say it is not very handy. So like that, the same word may be used in different type of polarity. So when we try to understand the pattern in the natural language, then we will understand for this particular context, this is used in the positive sense, and this particular context, this is used in the negative sense. So like that, we try to identify the sentiment that is available in the natural language, and accordingly, the business insight is given.
அந்த A2P பாக்ஸ் தூக்கி போட்டுறவா, அதான் மறைஞ்சிருச்சு எப்படி?
And the next kind of approach is the spelling correction. I'm sure already we are all using this feature in many of the social media application, or otherwise in any of the text editors, we will be using this spelling correction. So where we try to identify the similarity between the words, or otherwise the language model approach. So in language model approach, we try to understand what is the probability one particular character can follow the other particular character, or otherwise we try to identify the pattern or the edit distance between two words, and we try to find the similarity between the words and try the suggestion, or otherwise how this particular user has frequently used this particular word. So very commonly for last few days, this particular user has using this particular word. So most probably the user is again trying to use the same word. So the same word, I will give it like that. The system will have the intelligence of storing the previous information, and accordingly it is trying to suggest some words for the given word. So like this, we will have, we'll be using the spelling correction. And speech recognition, we already are using the speech recognition. When we are actually talking about the speech processing is a very, very complicated processing that involves a lot of signal processing techniques also. And but the simple speech recognition will just take the word as the input. Say for example, play, stop, like that. The words are taken as the input, and for the corresponding word, there will be certain kind of signal pattern that is there. Okay. So the simple application, simple mobile phone will be using these kind of approaches only. So for a word, say for example, play, the corresponding signal pattern is taken, and if it is matching with again, then it will say, okay, the user is trying to say play, and I'll play the music. Like that, for small comments like call, and like this, we can have a small comments that is available. And for that, we really don't have to go for a complicated speech processing. A simple speech recognition for a similar kind of words, this kind of pattern, like it is a simple pattern matching kind of reflection is used for understanding, or otherwise to understand what word we are uttering, and accordingly the activities are done. And another application is the chatbot application. So chatbot is not a very simple application. To certain level, it is a little bit complicated application only, where the system tries to understand what the user is trying to say. Again, it can be in a different levels also. It is not like always it should be a complicated level. Just for the keyword matching basis, it can give you the next sentence, and accordingly it can go on. Or sometimes the chatbot may be very complex too, and it is trying to understand really what you are trying to say, and accordingly it can respond. But most of the chatbot which we are seeing is based on the frequently asked question, and if this kind of question is asked, this is how the response should be. So like that only we try to give the chatbot. Okay. Now, what are the things which we will do when we are preparing a document? What is the pipeline action that we are going to do? So given a document, we will be doing the pre-processing. So in document pre-processing, what are the activity which we'll be doing? We will be doing the stop word removal, which is a very, very common activity we will be doing. And the next kind of activity will be removing the extra characters, extra spaces may be there in a document, and then removing the punctuation marks, exclamation mark, double quotes, single quotes, like that. We'll be having different type of characters that is available. So we try to remove all those things in a document. So this is the pre-processing activity. Once the pre-processing activity is done, then we go for the feature extraction. Feature extraction, again, depending upon the application what we are going to do, the feature extraction will be different. If it is a very simple statistical NLP, then we will just take the tokens, or otherwise the words. Okay. Or we can have even the n-grams, or we can have the chunks also, if we are going to use a better NLP activity. So when we are saying about the token, we are just saying about a single word. Or in some particular application, we may even use two words as a token. Okay, so your word can be a token, or the n-grams can be a token, or the chunks can be a token. So n-grams means how many characters of word you are going to take. So that is what the n-grams. It can be 5, or it can be 10, Like that you can decide upon. Instead of having the words, if you want to have the n-grams also, that is also approached by many researchers in the NLP world. And then this extracted feature is given to machine. So for example, if it is simple classification algorithm, then these simple things are sufficient. So we will be just removing the stop words. We will be tokenizing the content. That is, we split the sentence and then we convert the sentence into tokens, and then with the corresponding class label, it can be given to the machine learning algorithm. But if it is some other task, some additional knowledge may be added, some information, say like question answering system, some worldly knowledge is necessary for answering some kind of questions. So those kind of additional information also can be taken depending upon the task, and the algorithm will do the corresponding activity and we will give the output. So this is the very, very basic NLP work we have. As I already told, other works, definitely many other complicated algorithms are available. So as I said, a simple example I have shown here. If it is a simple sentiment classification, what I have is the text, and then the text is converted into features. So feature extractor will convert the text into given feature. So we have not actually included the pre-processing, but anyway, pre-processing is also included here, and then the features are taken. And as I said, for the given features, what is the label, or otherwise what is the tag, whether it is a positive, neutral, or negative. So those tags are given and given to some machine learning algorithm. So once we have this training phase that is completed, now the model is ready. So once the model is ready, for any new text document, extracting the feature can be given to the classifier model, and the classifier will tell us whether it is a positive or neutral or a negative tag. So as I said, when we are talking about the stop word removal, in English word, definitely, sorry, in English sentence, we have so many terms that is included in order to include the grammar of the sentence. Okay, say for example, the movie was not good at all. Okay, D is not actually carrying very specific meaning, and then this is was is used for representing the verb, and then not is indicating the good, and then it is supporting the good, and then at and all, again not carrying very much information. So these kind of words are called as the stop words. So words which are generally filtered out before processing a natural language are called stop words, or there is a words which doesn't carry much meaning are actually labeled as stop words, and those kind of words are removed from the sentence. So if you remove the stop words from the movie review, this is what you will get. So this is what I already told you many times. Depending upon the application, we decide upon which phase we want to include or which phase we don't want to include. So if we remove the stop word in this particular application, you can see here the movie review is movie was not good at all. But when you remove all the stop words, then the remaining word what we have is a movie good, but which is actually not the real message that is conveyed. So again and again, I reinstate that depending upon the application only, we have to decide what kind of pre-processing, what kind of steps we have to take. So stop word removal is to remove the non-functional words, or sorry, functional words, that is what they used to say, are the words which is not carrying any meaning. Those kind of words are removed from the text. And then stemming, we already seen many examples for the stemming. We convert the word into the base word. Okay, so if I have a word, sorry, sentence like this, he played football yesterday, how this will be converted? He play, either play PLAY is converted into I, or otherwise some stemming will convert this as a play only. Okay, and then the football and yesterday will be kept remaining as it is. And this is how generally the term document matrix is given. Sorry, actually this is a document term matrix. If you are doing any kind of classification activity, this is how generally a document will be given to the classifier. Okay. So you can see as a simple example, I have taken a very, very simple sentence, but in your real example, the sentence are too lengthy and it is having too many number of words. So D1 to indicate the document 1. So document 1 is he likes tennis and document 2, he likes football. Okay. So now I'm representing this in the format, that is the document term matrix or the term document matrix. So here the document is represented and here you can see the terms, that is he likes, and then other keywords what we have is the tennis and the football. So we have to represent all the words that is available in the lexicon or the dictionary. So in our case, we have only 4 words, but in real situation, we will be having hundreds and hundreds of words. So that is where we have to identify which words we have to consider. That is what in the slide number 2 or 3, we have already seen whether we should consider all the words in the lexicon. So definitely it is not possible to have all the words in the lexicon. There we have to go for something called the feature selection method. So all those things we are not discussing here. As I already told, we are going to discuss about the very basic things of the NLP. Okay, because this is a very vast version. We cannot cover the portion in 1.5 hour session. So what we have here is the very basic thing. Just to give a taste of NLP, we are giving this session. So as you can see here, we have totally 4 words that is available. He likes tennis and football are the 4 unique words that is available. So we are putting that in the column and then D1 and D2. So 1 indicates the word present in the document D1 and then 0 indicates the term not available in the document D1. So if you see in document D1, we see he is there, likes is there, tennis is there, football is not there. Similarly, in document D2, we have he that is available, likes available, tennis not available, and then football is available. So like this, we can represent the document. Again, for a simplicity, I have represented this in the form of a binary representation. Also, here the term frequency is very less because it is a very simple single sentence. But in real example, you will have the sentence will be, the word will be repeated in a document. Say for example, assume that a person is a tennis player, definitely the word tennis will be appearing many number of times. So if that is the case, we try to represent this document with respect to the term frequency. That is how many times a particular term available in that particular document. So like that, we try to represent the document in terms of the document frequency. Or otherwise, we try to represent the documents, represent the document in terms of the TF, IDF. TF is for the term frequency, IDF is for the inverse document frequency. So in this example, I have not shown that, but anyway, the Python programming, what I'm going to show, that is based on the TF, IDF concept only. So as I told, this is how the representation of a document term, and if it is a classification problem, definitely the last column will be indicating the label of the data. Okay, so before we go for the resource that is available for NLP, we'll just have a look into the programming that is used for the NLP processing. If you have any doubts so far, you may ask. Audience, if you have any doubt, you may ask.
Hello, madam. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Madam, actually, this spam filter in emails, especially
Yes,
Gmail or generally this Navi-based algorithm also remove this filter mails.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We
What is
have
the
many
difference
algorithms that
between?
is available for spam, sir. As I told you, it's a classification problem. We have very many algorithms that is available. I have just indicated only the basic things I have given here, sir. Say, for example, the Bayesian is available, SVM is available, and other kind of classification, logistical classification, like that. There are very many methods that is available, sir.
Which one is effective, madam? NLP is effective, or which algorithm is effective?
Sir,
For
NLP
filtering?
actually, by naive-Bayesian method is also using the NLP concept only, sir. It is using the statistical NLP. When we go for the syntactic analysis and semantic analysis, it is a pure NLP. When we just consider the words and then the terms on the frequency and the other kind of activity, generally we say that those kind of things are the statistical NLP. So again, there we are going to consider what is the frequency, how many times this particular word appears in the normal email, and how many times this particular word appears in the spam. So like that only we are going to calculate the probability of the spam. So,
madam, statistical methods
yes.
are used in NLP, maybe research focused point of view.
Recent focus, sir. You are asking about the application, sir, or you are asking about the technology, sir?
Technology.
Technology, definitely, nowadays people are using the deep learning network only, sir.
Deep learning.
Yes, sir. And the accuracy level of the deep learning network is amazing. So previously we were using, standardly we use SVM as the better classification algorithm. Now the deep learning technology is used in very many applications, and in most of the application it is giving a very, very nice accuracy.
But it have constraints. Deep learning is having some constraints.
Yes, sir.
Some constraints are there in deep learning. It is not
yes.
fit for
What kind of constraints you are talking about, sir?
Image processing techniques like this. Suppose we are going to find out this in agriculture point of view. Agriculture.
Sir, for image processing also it is doing very well, sir.
But deep learning have constraints. Maybe.
What constraints, sir? What constraints, sir, we have in deep learning?
Suppose if you take regression, number of applications we can solve through regression analysis. And Navi-based algorithm, through Navi-based algorithm, we are going to predict COVID type of diseases, COVID type of.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But when we are talking about the complex kind of activity, definitely the accuracy is not as good as the deep learning method, sir. Bayesian, yes, it is working, and regression also, yes, it is working. But when we are talking about the comparison of application and the accuracy level, definitely the deep learning is doing much, much wonderful work, sir.
In NLP, natural language processing, this is statistical method is used in NLP, natural language processing.
Sorry, sir?
Statistical method used in NLP. What is that? Which type of
when we are talking about, when we are handling the text, definitely that is coming into the NLP only, sir. Where we are just considering the frequency of the words and all, those things we classify into statistical NLP, sir. When we consider it totally as the proper meaning and understanding the meaning, and based on understanding the meaning, we go for the next level, all those things will come into the pure NLP level. So, for example, when we are talking about the question answering system, where we will try to keep the information as it is. We will not convert the information into the statistical form. As I said, the terms and then the term frequency, all those things. So the words will be kept as the same word, and the context will be, the whole document will be represented in a different form, depending upon, again, the application. So it may be represented as the first order logic, second order logic, or the soft logic. And then from there, people try to come to some kind of inference, and that kind of information will be used for answering the question answering. So those kind of things, we call that as a pure NLP.
For example, madam, reinforcement learning algorithm. In reinforcement learning algorithm, dynamic programming is used in reinforcement learning algorithm.
Correct, sir.
It's each and every algorithm, there is some math statistical background. Because of that reason, I asked you this question.
The reinforced learning, we are going to give certain kind of credit for the correct answer and non-credit for the wrong answer. So that is how it is going to have. I don't really understand your question, sir.
No. Which statistical method is used in NLP? That's straightforward question. Only Bayes theorem are like this. Which method is used? Which statistical method is using in under NLP, natural language processing?
Natural language processing is using the Bayesian method, sir.
Bayes method.
Yes, sir. It is using the Bayesian method.
Any other participant having questions? You can interact with our chief guest today. Dear participants, any other participant having questions, you can ask.
Sir, are we getting late, sir? Can I take 5 more minutes?
No, madam. We can. I think we can wind up the session now because nobody is ready to ask questions. So we can wind up and then we can close the session. Thank you, madam. Thank you for this wonderful session.
Okay, sir.
And thank you.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.